Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hey, Deborah, how's it going?
Hi, Wilson. Good. How are you?
Good. Forever working, which is always great.
Listen, gotta do it.
Obviously, there was definitely a lot of debate on the first Deb, so with Deb Scare, what are
Mm.
we getting that's different that's going to bring in a new audience and bring back some audiences?
Yeah, I think that the first installment, Them Covenant, was grounded in truth of the time. And the unfortunate truth is that, America was very, very harsh for Black people at that time. And so we sat in that truth. But I think Them Scare, I think first of all, what brings people into this installment is the fact that it's in the 90s. And so for a lot of people, it's not so far removed. You know what I mean? So even the more hard things, people can honestly say, yeah, I was kind of there. Like people can talk about, oh yeah, I remember when the Rodney King thing happened. I remember when, the OJ Simpson trial was going on, rest in peace. Like I remember like when all these things were happening. I was there. So, and I remember how I felt. So by nature of that, a lot of times it doesn't become that far removed. And so we will always kind of present the truth and sit in that, and as artists we, I know for me, I know for LM, we just try to sit in truth. But I just think that a lot of new people really appreciate the fact that this season isn't as far removed because it is in a closer time period.
What did you do to get into the mindset of playing not only just a Black cop, a Black female cop in a leadership position in the 90s and then
Mhm.
working with Pam Grier?
Oh gosh, so there's a whole bunch of... So first of all, how did I get in the mindset? I really started to think about what the Black female experience is of being in leadership, being in power, being, kind of in these positions where you have a bit of power, and it is not easy. A lot of times you get overlooked, not listened to. A lot of things happen that can make it very, very tough, and that can make, one feel very, very isolated. And to be honest with you, having Pam on set for me personally was such a blessing, because I just looked at her and I was like, because I know that she's gone through so much, you know, and she still enjoys what she does. And I felt just watching her, if she can do that, I can. If she can, just go through all the things she went through, fight for her art, fight for her career, fight for this, and fight to be, for these roles that weren't common at the time, like I can do it. And so for me, that gave me the strength to play Dawn, who was going through a very similar experience. And so, yeah, it was just an honor. It's just an honor.
Mm-hmm. To wrap it up, obviously you've done two series. I saw you recently Sensibility, on Prime. Uh, how does that experience, playing the lead along with working on ensemble affected you, moving forward?
Gosh, it's something that I don't take lightly. It's a position that I don't take lightly. Because I feel like, when I'm in these positions, I can speak up about a lot of things. I can be a part of, positively changing certain things. And I don't take it lightly at all. I feel very, very blessed, but I've also worked really hard. I've worked my ass off, and, so I'm just kind of receiving it with humility, but also in that knowing that, you know what, this is where I'm supposed to be, and I want to just keep on going.
Congratulations once again on a role on a series. We're always here to support. I'm sure I'll talk to you on another project, but for now, we're promoting this one. Take care.
Thank you.
Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hello, Miss Grier. How's it going?
Wilson, my
It
pleasure.
is.
Thank you for honoring us and sharing, our artistry. Not only myself, but a very unique and talented group of the writer and director and the cast members that are just, we've given each other so much, and I just want to share that with you.
Appreciate it. You've been working for such a long time. You've taken on different projects, whether it be TV or film. What led you to say yes to taking on this project?
I enjoy horror. I've always enjoyed horror and sci-fi. And when little Marvin, he hunted me down because I was turning away shows that were derivative and didn't give me the challenge, and it would offer someone else an opportunity. And when he approached me with his script and ideas and his conceptuality, I said, "Who he?" He want me to, walk in the room and turn on the lights and lock the doors. I see, can he do that? And he did. And he convinced me about the subtleties and subtext of all the elements that were going to be, required, giving up your strength, putting yourself in a vulnerable position and owning up to things that, a lot of people are afraid of. People afraid of aging.
Mhm.
They're afraid of losing their mental faculties or being taken care of. And those components in my character, I had to give up. There's a lot of things that I'm very easily like, am I going to get plastic surgery? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? Losing this, losing that. I said, I'm good. If I wake up breathing, I'm gonna have a good day. But with Lil M, he said, we've got to go to the edge. We're gonna have to jump off, and I'm there with you. And I said, I'm there with you as well. So tell it, be it. And the fact that Black horror and just plain horror is essentially growing, is expanding. And I'm loving it because not only do we have the elements of incredible technology to pull it off, and the crews and the writing, you just don't jump into horror and the element of sci-fi overnight. It
Mhm.
takes time to condition your audience, build your audience, and find that audience who's willing to say, scare me, scare my ass. Okay, so he has done it. And I knew he could. And I said, I'm there with you. Whatever you want, I have it. Let's go. And to meet and hear that in your chest, you feel it. When you feel somebody, it's like when you find your person, you feel that writing, that conceptuality, that voice that tells you, we're going to do it. This is it. I have it. Let's go. And that's what he gave me. And I don't always get that.
Mhm. To pivot off, before I let you go, can you comment very briefly, if you can, about the 50th anniversary of Foxy Brown, which turned 50th on April 5th?
I've already celebrated the 50th anniversary 12 times at theaters across the country where they're revitalizing the theaters. And so what I do, I go, we show Coffee Foxy Brown, and I give a Q&A, and we raise funds to revitalize these incredible old movie theaters all across the country in communities, not in malls, in communities. And it's joyous that after 50 years that I have the ability to continue to educate the audiences on a liberated woman who goes out and fights for others and loves other people. And so it's been wonderful. And I have 30 more to go to. I'm invited to every Comic-Con in America.
So be it. Keep it going. You're a legend. Keep it going. It's always good to talk to you, that you continue to work, for such a long time. We've been a fan. Obviously, when you work, we work, because we,
Yes,
you know.
I have to thank the audience.
Mhm.
The Comic-Cons being out there, personal peers, they supported us through the strike, the pandemic. You have to thank the audience. Without them, without the audience, there is no actor.
Yes. Have yourself a great day. We'll talk down the road.
Thank you for your time.
Mhm. Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. What's up, Luke? How's it going?
What's up, Wilson? How you doing?
Good, good. Wow, this role for you is something special.
Yeah. Yes.
Kind of scary, kind of menacing. Obviously, with some of the things that your character goes through, I'm sure a lot of people have gone through,
Yeah.
in terms of how to get ready for a performance. How did you get ready for this role?
Man, I was just flying at the seat of my pants. I just had to lean into the universe and the safe space that Lil Marvin created. and just tap into that inner child of myself. This opportunity was just something I got to pour all of me into as much as I could. And you know, people that know me know that I have a bit of a morbid comedic attitude about life that I don't quite get to share, and I haven't been able quite to, I mean, I haven't had an opportunity to use. Coming here, I mean, it was just once I read who little Marvin, what he thought of Edmund, I was like, wow, okay. I just had to tap into his humanness and just tell the truth for myself, you know, as a child, searching and longing for love and acceptance and to be seen. And also who's charismatic and just uber talented and sometimes can seem chaotic to most. Coming to Lil Marvin, I mean, it wasn't chaotic at all. It was like, it was just perfect. And it was a home. It felt like home. It wasn't much of a stretch, but just to say, let go.
As an actor, and obviously you see what Edmund goes through it, and you can never stop auditioning. You know,
No.
have you experienced that fear of auditioning, especially when you come home and you don't get that part, and everybody goes through it. Nobody bats 1,000 in this business, you
Right.
know. So, you know, has there been a part, whether you've gotten or not, that you really had to go all out for something that's not you, that you didn't think you can get, but you had to demonstrate that you have a certain range?
Yes, there have been plenty of those. And whether I was ready for them, I wasn't. I'm not. Well, obviously, I didn't get a lot of them, so I wasn't. But yes, I've had those experiences. I mean, when you have a bad audition, or I mean, it's just nerve-wracking. I get nervous right now just talking about auditioning. Oh my God, even self-tapes, but that's a lot easier. But I mean, the idea of going in front of someone and it's up to them to decide if you're great or not. I mean, it's such a ride. And then when you don't get it, all I want to do is eat ice cream and go to sleep. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to do anything. I mean, everyone can relate to that. I mean, it's a lot of rejection in this business. You get used to it. And the job, most of your job is auditioning. That's what you do. Yeah, it wasn't hard to even tap into that. I understood that and knew that all so well, too well.
Before I let you go, obviously, you know, you had the try, you have this, you know, you're continuing to work. What makes you say yes to the projects you take?
If it feels challenging, if it moves my spirit. I've been grateful to be a vessel lately for the few projects that I've done, and I say vessel because in some ways I see the characters a bit outside of myself. Especially with Edmund, the extremities, like I relate to him, but there's a very extreme, obviously, level to him. But it seemed like a great challenge, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity. You know, I'm just grateful to be able to do what I love to do, and taking on challenges is part of it. So that's really what I look to.
Congratulations, Luke, on the role, on the series. Obviously, you're continuing to work, which is why we're here to support. I'm sure
Yes,
we'll talk down the road. Take
yes, we
care.
will. I hope so.
Yes.
My brother.
Wilson Morales from Black for Me TV. Hey, Joshua, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm a big fan of you, boss.
Hey, appreciate it. You know, obviously, you know, when you take a look at this series, and people who watch the first series knows they're going to get the unexpected. Did you know what you were walking into when you took on this character?
I did not. I did not, but I was ready. I was ready. I kind of knew what to expect, but I didn't know, you know, it's different once you actually in something. So like, it was totally different. Like, you know, when I stepped into it, but I was ready. I was ready. It was a horror. I was like, okay, cool. It was Lil Marvin. It's them season 2. I know what to expect, but once I jumped in it, it was totally something different.
You know, there's a lot in this series, from the 90s aspect, the horror aspect, the music aspect. You know, how much research did you do, not only to your character, but the series itself, with everything that they're doing with it?
Well, one thing that I go to is I watched this documentary called LA '92, and I also just to get the feel of the atmosphere that the time period was in, and I also looked at this film, one of my favorite films, Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs, It was during the 90s, starring a little black kid. It was a horror. So I feel like those two things was really the best two things to watch to really get into the character as much as I did, So just that, watching music videos during that time period, just listening to different songs, looking at different outfits, not costumes, but outfits, because y'all was really wearing that. I was born in 2000, so I just really had to just dig in a little bit to do my research.
Do you play any 90s music now on your phone?
Dog, like I'm a big Marvin Gaye fan. Marvin Gaye is my favorite artist. I mean, I know that's like the 80s, like, but Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, they have some 90s people that I listen to, but I was really listening to what my character would listen to, like straight out of Compton and everything like that, like NWA and a lot of those other rappers, Tupac, everybody like that. So I was really listening to those guys. But I'm a big 80s, 90s.
You're working opposite, Deborah and Pam. Pam, I just spoke to her. She's a legend. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. Those moments that I share with them, I will forever cherish. Not too many people could say that they work with Pam Grier. Not too many people that could say that they work with Deborah. Not too many people that could say that they work with Luke. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I had with those people, and I would forever cherish those moments with them.
When you do a series like this, and you've done other projects, is there anything you picked up from Little Marvin or any of the creatives behind the scenes that helps you as an actor, skill set wise, to whatever project you do next?
That is a great question. Deborah, we had the most time together. And she really just throughout the season just gave me so much advice. That I would for sure take to other projects. You know what I'm saying? And also Little Marvin, he was there for me day one. Like, he was just like, you got this. So he gave me some information that I would forever cherish, and I would, take to future projects, especially horror based genre projects, for sure. But everybody was so helpful. Everybody was so helpful for me because they've been in the industry for however long they've been in it. I'm just coming in. I'm really new. So for me to just have all of those beautiful people surrounding me, and really just taking me by my hands and really just showing me the ropes and what to look out for and what not to do and what to do and how to focus on certain things of that aspect is amazing.
Hey, congrats on the road. Congrats on the series. I'm sure we'll talk down the road. You got a long career ahead of you.
Thank you.
Have a safe one. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hey, Little. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. How much did the reception of the first series impact the second one?
It was exciting. I mean, listen, here's the thing. The first season kind of exploded on the scene, and that's what you want, whether the reaction is, oh my God, never, or oh my God, I love it. I think the worst thing that could happen would just be crickets and tumbleweeds. So like the fact that there was an explosion of conversation around it, the fact that people were debating it, like that was actually, in hindsight, I mean, when it's happening, it feels like you're being run over by a bus, but I have to say, with 3 years of hindsight, it's actually a lovely thing. And it was a real gift that it inspired that much dialogue. So truly, it was actually exciting to come back and embrace it and re-embrace the show in a completely new way.
I'm thinking about it now, and obviously with the recent death of OJ, we're transported back to the 90s.
Yeah.
And obviously this is set in the 90s, and you have to, there's a lot of research that has to go into it. Not only are you making a horror series, but you're taking it back to the 90s, where how much research went into that time period and adding it to the horror element.
A ton. I mean, we always want to be with the show like very cognizant of the historical import as we're balancing it. It's not a documentary, but we always want there to be a level of veracity and truth to every season. And so every season is very well researched. This season, the research was, I have to say, in some ways easier because I lived it. Like I was there during this time. I remember, that year when that Rodney King tape came out. I remember the shockwaves that sent across the city and across the planet at the time. And so it was very clear to me that watching a woman a Black woman who's also a detective and a very seasoned detective for LAPD, navigating the kind of the tumult and the sort of the sort of the tension of that was going to be a very exciting thing to explore. So
Speaking of Black women, you've got Deborah back again, which is great when you have an anthology series and you got somebody coming back, and then you have the legendary Pam Grier. Can you talk about bringing back Deborah to lead this series and then casting Pam Grier?
I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches, frankly, between the two of them. Deb is, I call her the muse of them. She was the warm sort of beating heart at the center of the first season. And so I found as I sat down to write the pilot for the second season, there was no other face. I could only see Deb's, and I was trying desperately to push her face out of my head because I'm like, oh, we have to move on. It's a new show. But then I couldn't. And luckily, the stars aligned and she was able to do it. So she was the first and only choice for that role. Pam Grier was almost like it was too big a gift to even imagine. So I couldn't have even imagined that big. She has had such an impact on me personally, but on all of us. She is not only as a Black icon, but as a cinema icon. She was the first. She was so many firsts in one body. She was the first action heroine. She was fearless. She was sexy. She was empowered. And so to work with her is quite frankly the biggest gift I've had. And she's a treasure trove of history. Yeah.
In a quick nutshell, what's a good reason for people to start watching this, especially if they've never caught Dem or they had issues with Dem?
I think whether you had issues or whether you're totally new to it, this is a completely new season. It's a new season in terms of its tone. It's a new season in terms of its storytelling. It's a new season in terms of its references. And it's the 90s. So it's a super fun season to kind of, sink your teeth into. So I think whether you saw the first season or you're just coming to it, there's something new for everybody to watch and enjoy.
Congratulations, Little. Obviously, you are a force to be reckoned with. We're interested to see what stories you have to tell.
You're very
Take
kind.
care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.